Hello, everyone. I'm Ricardo. I'm the startup community builder. I like the word builder a lot. So that's the title that I gave myself. I'm here with my colleague, Alicia. Reach out to her, to myself after this presentation if you have any questions or if you want to know more. Happy to tell you everything about us. So we're a startup based in London. We aim to solve a big problem here in Europe. We aim to boost entrepreneurship by providing entrepreneurs capital and helping them aggregate pools of capital and accessing that capital. So let me tell you a little bit from where we're coming from. So entrepreneurs like access to that early bits of capital that allows them to get to that product market fit. Sometimes it's really difficult to do it without bootstrapping. Sometimes it's even impossible. And you really need those bits of capital to get you investment ready, to get you to those accelerators and to those seed funds. So sometimes it's just too early for these angels. The tickets are too small for VCs, and tough luck. You don't have a rich friends and family that can give you a lot of money for you to keep on growing your business. On the other side, we see a big problem with the fact that a lot of people want to invest in startups, private companies, but they can't do it. So it's sometimes very much limited to high net worth individuals and people who have the time to commit to look for startups everywhere around Europe. And in the end, it just ends up being something for the 1%. So we at Seedrs want to democratize investment in private companies and startups. And we are kind of like Kickstarter, but for equity. We're an online equity crowdfunding platform for discovering and investing in great startups, and we allow entrepreneurs to raise equity capital from their family, their friends, their customers, the communities around their business, and obviously the crowds and individual investors. And obviously anyone can invest from £10 up, which is the way we democratize investment. We've been live for 19 months. Let me just show you a little bit of the numbers. For most part of these 19 months, we've been only open to the UK. And we had 32,000 registered users, investors, 65 campaigns funded with an aggregate amount of capital being 7.4 million euros. The average funding amounts is around £100,000. The days to get that funding is around 24 days, and the number of investors is around 120 investors, which is a really good number to have you backing your business. So just giving you a little bit more context, in the last quarter of 2013, ourselves, Seedrs, raised funds on our own platform, and we ended up raising £2.5 million, which was a great validation for our business, a great validation for equity crowdfunding in general, and a great validation for our model, for the Seedrs model. And obviously we opened up to Europe, meaning that we're now open to 32 countries, from Latvia to Denmark to Paris to Lisbon to Portugal to Spain, etc. Which we are now open to startups all over Europe and investors all over Europe. We want to make it absolutely pan-European. But let me just tell you something. And we've been live for 19 months, and it hasn't always been easy for us. 2 years ago, if we talk about equity crowdfunding to anyone in London, people would laugh in our faces. They would say, yeah, that will never happen. It's too complicated to have so many shareholders in your company for that initial capital that you need for your business. It's so unclean that in the end, VCs and angels will not invest in your company. I mean, these guys, look at Seedcamp, they choose the 1%. They have a lot of no's to give to startups. So if you give them a reason for them to say no, they'll just say no. So we don't want to be a problem for startups. We really want to be a solution for startups. So we solve all these problems. The first thing is we have a nominee structure where the only person that you see in your cap table is Seedrs. So one entry in your cap table, we manage the crowd for you. We don't want you to deal with admin. We don't want you to deal with legal stuff. We do all of that. It's part of our DNA. It's part of what Seedrs is. And we also do everything related to due diligence and shareholder agreements in-house. We have a team of legal experts doing all these things in-house, which basically saves you a lot of money. Everything is done in the same place. And all of this is done with one single fee based on your success. Only if you're successful on Seedrs, you pay us 7.5% of what you raise. Another thing is that we're not just a Match.com for meeting investors and startups, we are a life cycle manager of your crowd. We don't want you to deal with your crowd anytime. We don't want you. We want you to grow your business. We want you to focus on what you do best. So being a life cycle manager means that we'll be there when you raise your Series A, your Series B, and you exit, etc. We'll want you to do those things because in the end, as we manage the investment of our investors, of your crowd, we in the end are there until your exit, and we charge from your investors, from your crowd, a 7.5% carry, which means that we succeed when you succeed. We succeed when our entrepreneurs succeed. We are 100% aligned with a startup success. So we just want you to leverage what's good about the crowds. Having 112 people without having the hassle of managing them is amazing for an early stage business. You can ask for advice, ask for help on specific matters, on specific issues that you have. You can also join the Seedrs community and share experiences with founders that are probably looking into problems that you also are. So the Seedrs journey is pretty straightforward. You create a campaign, which is basically kind of an application for an accelerator. We don't want to see business plans. We don't want to see all of that. We want to see what you're doing. And once you're ready to go live, obviously the video is a really important part, a compelling part of the whole thing. Storytelling is so important. And once you're ready to map out all the things that you can do to reach the people that you want to join your crowd, you're ready to go live. And then it's all about the hustle and getting to 100%. And finally, the last part is, while we manage everything related to the crowd, you just grow your business. That's our motto. That's our DNA. So enough talking about us. I think the most important part is talking about our startups and a couple of examples that are really cool to share. We're just a tool, so our startups are what matters. Let me tell you about Fusmo. So Elliot is an entrepreneur from Wales. He's based at Swansea, Tech Hub Swansea. And he basically built a social picture sharing website for pet and animals pictures. Don't laugh. He basically started 3 months ago, and very fast he built an MVP on Instagram and got 2.5 million followers in these 3 months. For him to validate this product that he has, he used Seedrs to raise £40,000 so that he could then build his mobile version of what he's trying to build. He then validated, he reached £40,000 in 11 days, and he's now overfunding to 55. He has many investors, 158 investors at the moment in this round, and he's really an example for us of an early stage business validating himself with the crowd. An even more amazing kind of example is Setego. So Steven is an amazing entrepreneur, and he has track record. He's been doing amazing things before, and he built a technology to help freelancers and SMEs get paid in time, which is a huge frustration because startups don't have the money to hold on while they're waiting for the big companies to pay them. He raised £30,000 on Seedrs from 61 investors back in the end of 2012, and he was able to validate so many of the hypotheses that he has. He reached the milestones that he needed. He applied to Seedcamp, and on the first instance got rejected, although he got to the event because he didn't have a co-founder. Again, huge milestone for him to achieve. He achieved that milestone, and in the end is now part of the Seedcamp family and doing great things, and now raising his next round. So I think the basic point about our startups is that they're able to do great things. And I think the best validation regarding all of this is the fact that they've been able to get accepted into accelerators such as Seedcamp or get investment from VCs like Passion or Balderton or DFJ. This is huge track record for our startups, but also for us. These VCs and these accelerators are happy with the way we build the structure for the companies to raise funds with us, and that's kind of a huge validation for us. So just to finish, I just want to share with you a couple of insights from our team. So obviously you understand that creating a really clear and exciting campaign that tells your story, that shows how passionate and how you're driven to solve the problem that you're solving is really important. It's important to think about valuation. I guess in the early stage it's really difficult, but our team is there to help, and I'm sure you have some sort of a sense of where you are. It's obviously really important to take time to prepare the campaign launch. Before you go live, you have to have a massive amount of people ready to kind of support you, even with funding or with just sharing your story around social networks, blogs, communities, online or offline. So the hustle is obviously really important by combining these online and offline efforts. And obviously, I mean, Kickstarter has also shown that data. It's really important to do all this hustle in the first weeks where you go live, or you end up in the suburbs of the website, which is something that we don't want to happen. So yeah, if you have any questions, thank you very much for the time. If you have any questions, reach out to me or to Alicia. We'll be here for the networking. We'll be here tomorrow at Tech Show Baltics, and we'll also be in Riga until the end of Friday. So reach out to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.